Tom McClintock, live from Washington, D.C. Good morning, Congressman.
Good morning, Jim.
Hey, let's talk about the debt ceiling and specifically your legislation, the Default Prevention Act. If passed, explain to us what that would do.
Well, this bill just provides an ironclad guarantee that the debt of the United States will always be paid in full and on time. It simply builds on what is already the administration's authority and responsibility, and that is to be sure that the debt payments are made first. Debt payments are about 1/10 of the monthly revenues that come into the federal government. So there should never be a threat of a default. The Constitution forbids it, and the act that created the Treasury gives the President the full authority to prioritize payments. This bill simply puts that explicitly.
And this has passed the committee, am I right on that? And now needs to be voted on by the whole House, is that correct?
Right.
And you're optimistic that it'll pass?
Well, it'll be up to the leadership to schedule it for a vote. I think they're holding it in reserve in case the talks that are currently going on fall short. But the fact of the matter is, 3 weeks ago, the House passed a debt limit increase, $1.5 trillion of additional debt, but also assuring that there will be savings to begin to get out of this reckless deficit spending that's bringing down our economy.
Talk about the border right now. Title 42, that has expired, but we haven't seen the big surge at the border that was predicted. Well, why do you think that is? What's going on there?
Well, a number of things. One of them is that they're hiding numbers through their CBP One app. They're still bringing them in. They're just bringing them in through the ports of entry. The numbers are absolutely staggering. Since Joe Biden canceled the border wall, ordered ICE to stop enforcing court-ordered deportations, and ended the Remain in Mexico policy, we've seen 2.1 million illegal immigrants deliberately admitted into the country. That's a population larger than the state of Nebraska. And while the Border Patrol has been totally overwhelmed by taking names and changing diapers on the border, another 1.5 million known gotaways have entered the country. That's an additional illegal population larger than the state of Hawaii. The impact that's having on schools, on hospitals, and on the social safety net that's supposed to be there to assist Americans in need is overwhelming, and it's getting worse.
Now, you co-authored the Secure the Border legislation, which passed the House, and I believe is now in the Senate. What will this do if it is passed?
In short, it restores the Trump-era policies that had actually secured our border. The Remain in Mexico policy had slowed illegal immigration to a trickle. We were enforcing court-ordered deportations, and the border wall was nearing completion. Joe Biden canceled all of those on his very first day in office, and the result has been an illegal mass migration of historic proportions. We simply restore the policies that worked.
Now, you are also a part of a bipartisan coalition that reintroduced the Save Our Sequoias Act. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, well, it incorporates provisions from the successful legislation that I had introduced back in 2016, and it was signed into law by President Obama as part of the WIN Act that year. It provides a categorical exclusion for forest thinning projects up to 10,000 acres. That dramatically cuts the red tape. It reduces the study time for a forest thinning project from 4 years down to about 4 months. It reduces the environmental impact statements from 800 pages down to a few dozen. It has resulted in a tripling of the acreage treated in the Tahoe Basin, where it currently is effective. The Save Our Sequoias Act simply provides the same provisions for the forests surrounding our sequoia groves in order to get them back to a resiliency. Right now, the forests are morbidly overgrown. We have about 4 times the amount of timber that land can support, so the timber is succumbing to disease, pestilence, drought, and ultimately catastrophic wildfire, and that's threatening sequoia groves, as it is the rest of the national forests.
Congressman Tom McClintock, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We'll be
My
right
pleasure, Jim. Thanks for having me.